I just walked outside and going to feed the animals, and it's so loud out here. I don't know if you can see these trees blowing around like crazy. We've had this door open so the cats can get in here and mouse, and that chicken just spooked out of here. 3 nice fat eggs in here for me. It's Friday, about 7:20. Figure I have about an hour until it's completely dark. Back where I left off last night, these little trees looking pretty sad. The next row here, these trees looking equally sad. Get up into these look completely dead, not performing at all. And then you get up to these, and even more than yesterday. Here's 1, 2, 3, looking very promising, a lot of leaves on them. And here's this little guy. Those leaves were not there yesterday, so there's 4. Yesterday it was 3. Oh, look, here's another one. 5. So I'm still hopeful for these others, right? Because they look the same, right? They look like they're dead. Looks like that guy's about to pop out some leaves. So I'm still hopeful. While the dirt looks completely dry, it is definitely still damp under here. And I didn't put water here yesterday. I put water further down to fill up those trenches that hadn't ever caught water. Because when I turned it on the first time, it ran through 3. It takes quite a while to fill them up. And I think the move probably will be to fill these trenches in considerably so they're not nearly as deep. But here you can see through all of the beating sun and everything today, these got water yesterday at about 6 o'clock. Completely soaking wet. That looks like it's probably a deer print there. I've never seen deer up here before. I guess we should put some cameras up here. And then here, this one is soaking wet. Even after beating down 90 degrees today, completely wet. So they work well, but I'm gonna plant them up. So Friday, still got that cough a little bit. It's like between here and here, but nothing's coming out or anything. You know, I'm over it. Most of the day I'm fine, and then towards the end of the day, it starts getting congested again. 7:30-ish Friday, and this is what I'm doing, right? I didn't jump in a car. I'm not out having dinner. I'm not out partying. I'm not at the movies. If you watch my videos, a lot of people are like, man, I wish I could do what you do, or I wish I could have what you have, or I wish I could, you know, live where you live, you know, and just on your terms, right? But how did that happen? That happened because a lot of it, probably 75% of it, is just doing the exact same thing over and over and over. Whatever it is you start, you're not good at it, and you just keep doing it until you become kind of good at it, right? And then when you're good at it, you do it until you become great at it. And then when you're great at it, you just keep doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it until you're the best at it, right? So whatever that is, that's just what it is. 70% of my life, 75% of my life has been doing the exact same thing. Not the exact same thing, but everything I do in the same manner, right? If I'm gonna mess with it, if it's not just entertainment, then I'm gonna do it to its fullest, and I'm gonna do it until I'm really, really good at it, whatever that is. And right now, it's food production and homesteading, right? That's always kind of been the hobby. I think homestead is kind of the goal of every prepper or survivalist, right? Because what are you gonna do? You're gonna live in the park by yourself? That sounds awesome, right? Try that having, you know, a woman with you, a relationship. Not that it can't be done. I'm sure some place there's people that can do it, but they don't want to do it, right? I wanna live on my terms, completely doing whatever I want to do when I want to do it, whether the collapse of society comes or not, right? And I want to do it in a manner that is comfortable. I want to do it how I want to do it, right? I've done all the uncomfortable shit. I don't have to do that anymore. I know that I can do it. I know that I would rather do it with comfort. And if we ever have to revert to the other, well, then we already know what it tastes like and it smells like, and we've already seen it. But this right here is about food production. You could eat those willows if you wanted to. You could eat those mulberries if you wanted to. But this is about, as animal feed gets more expensive, which if you have any animals, you are well aware that animal feed costs have almost doubled. And for the city folks, right, like the pet store people, their animal feed has tripled in price. If you have like city chickens and you don't have a lot of volume of chicken feed wherever you are, then, you know, that chicken feed is 3 times as much. But this is about feeding rabbits and feeding ducks and feeding chickens. And if pelletized feed were to become unavailable, then We can feed this to them. We can make feed out of this. We can feed it straight to them. We can make silage out of it. Not aware what that is. Well, we can talk about that. And that's what this is all about. It's about having this. And then also, if you don't put something you want on that ground, Mother Nature will put something on that ground, and it won't be what you want. So this piece of property right here is always just kind of, I mow it and it's just dusty and dirty. I just walked outside and going to feed the animals, and it's so loud out here. And when I don't mow it, it's pretty dusty and dirty. And this was the downhill for the track for the razors, and you'd come tearing into here. There was a huge berm here. There's a jump going up. There's a little jump up here. There's a big, huge berm that takes you into the straight over there. And because it's on a hill, we never, you know, planted it in fruit trees, and it's kind of a pain in the ass to mow. So blueberries did pretty well here. And in a couple days, maybe next week, we'll be pulling some of these little blueberries. Getting there. This one, we probably will not be eating any of these blueberries. Apparently we set this here and it never got dug in. But this is just food production, and this is my free time, right? I could go to the movies, we could go to dinner, we could do so many things tonight, but that's not what we're doing. We're doing this. And Amanda's in there. I don't know what she's doing, but I know that all 4 of those embroidery machines are running, and that puts all the Friday the 13th stuff out, finishes every piece, every 2 pieces of embroidery that come off those machines, finishes a bag, and every one of those bags ships an order. It's just what we choose to do. So while you're watching, you know, and you're like, oh, that guy's life seems so good, I wish I could have that. What you got to ask is, what did he do in order to have that, right? And how long did he do it for? People watch my YouTube or my social media stuff. Some guys find me this week. Some guys have known me a year. Some guys have known me 10 years. But I've been doing this 35 years, right? I've started this business 35 years ago, and this homesteading and gardening stuff, been doing it damn near 50 years. Even in San Diego, in a HOA, I still had rabbits, still had a garden, still had a jungle in the backyard full of food. You know, we've always been doing this. It's just consistency. So, I'm gonna dig some holes here. I'm gonna use this auger. I'm gonna use this Milwaukee hammer drill, and it works pretty badass. And I'm gonna keep pumping water in here. Tomorrow, this weekend, it says 75 degrees, which will be awesome. We will get a ton of stuff done during the day tomorrow if it's only 75 degrees. Hoping for rain. We haven't seen any in a couple weeks. Definitely need some. And when we do get it, it's not enough really to do anything and soak in the ground. But that's the other beauty of all these trees, right? So these swales fill up and then they sit and soak. So the roots tap down, right? So the water, because it's downhill, the water sits on this side, and that's where all the roots are. And all these trees planted 9 feet apart, they will grow up and hang over. We're never gonna let them become trees. We're gonna make them bushes, right? Because we're gonna keep cutting them down. When those branches all lop over, they'll kind of meet in the middle. They will shade this ground. So those leaves, the foliage, the canopy will catch all the sunlight. While the sunlight's, you know, during the day baking the ground, this ground will stay moist. And this water will all leach downhill. So in effect, it becomes its own rainforest, right? It becomes its own little forest canopy, and then it makes the leaves drop, and it makes mulch underneath, and it makes compost underneath. And before you know it, this ground here will just be black soil instead of dead dust. Watch, it'll happen fast too. The first year, you'll see it, you're like, holy cow. But the second and third year, holy shit, you will be surprised. The whole time I've been up here, I've had water running into this one. It only just now filled, and now it's running over into this one. And this one is filled pretty quick. And I would guess it's gonna empty here and fill this last one. It gets steeper down there. That's why we didn't build any down there. We can always go back and add them though. Pretty close, another inch. And this one will spill, and that'll be the last one, which is the only one that hasn't ever been filled. This one hadn't been. And you can see bubbles coming through. That means the water's soaking in there and filling up all the ant hills and channels and everything. Almost. I would miss it, otherwise I'd go get a shovel and just cut a notch here and lower this a couple inches. There we go, starting to spill. Come on, you can do it. It'll build a little head, like a little dam, and it'll purge. It'll break through, and then the water will really start to run. Did you ever do that as a kid? Build dams and little rivers and stuff and dirt? Fill them with water from the hose? It might actually bypass this. There it goes, it's spilling in. But it's also bypassing it. Nothing a few minutes with a shovel won't fix. There we go. Last one full, overflowing down the hill. I'm about done up here for tonight, I think, but I can get some soil, put into some of the more of those protein tubs, get some more potatoes in that dirt, and after that I can still at least get some stuff done with the tractor, move some wood mulch and stuff. Eventually we'll wood mulch all of these berms, and we'll put heavy mulch around all the blueberries here pretty quick, but I've still got more to do on the drive in. I've still got more wood chips to put over there. Okay, tractor's back together. It was fixed the day after it got catified. Cody fixed it, put it all back together, ran it for a second, a couple minutes, but I haven't used it since then. So, will this work? I think it will. It does have kind of a hydraulic oil smell though. Is it hydraulic oil or hydraulic fluid? No, no pee, no pee. No, oh, you're peeing. I told you not to pee. You're vibrating like crazy. Hello, little peer.
Talking about Willis, one of the realest